Well, just 2 days after the launch of Season 2, we've got another update that was released that aims to tackle some of the existing bugs within the game, and some that persisted through Season 2, some that were caused by Season 2 that you may be experiencing. So today, I want to run down what you needed to know and what's been mentioned as changes so that you're fully aware next time you jump into Black Ops 6. Grab your thoughts, drop a like, and make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all things Black Ops 6, and make sure to follow over on Twitch as well to catch up and chat with us live. We'd love to see you guys out there, but anyways, let's get into this update and what actually changed. I think the biggest thing out of this update comes down to a lot of the global changes here, things that are shared across multiplayer in Black Ops 6, zombies in Black Ops 6, and then Warzone as a whole. For this, one of the biggest things that is stated to be corrected is the joining on friends feature. For those that have tried to play since Season 2 launched, it's been very problematic. It's been a very common bug that players would not be able to join their friends from either the quick selection on that sort of just regular right-hand tab, or even going into the entire social menu, being unable to join your friends and start a party with them. Obviously, super annoying. I personally love playing in a party when I have the option to. Most of the times I don't. So when everybody ends up jumping on for the season launch and it's something you can't even play with your friends, obviously super frustrating. And it was weird because it was one of those things that did appear to be a matchmaking bug that usually that's corrected within the first couple of hours of the game's update, but that wasn't the case here. Instead, it was corrected in today's update. So fingers crossed, there should be no lingering problems here with it. You should be able to join your friends and play in a party to your heart's content. Splitscreen also had a fix where it addressed an issue that player 2 would immediately be kicked when trying to join a split screen match. Might not affect the overall population and large majority, but for those that were having this issue, obviously super annoying. Ranked play cross-play features had some adjustments here. That this goes for both Black Ops 6 ranked play and Warzone ranked play. Obviously, the big sort of key marquee item out of ranked play and what was on offer with Season 2 was the fact that you have cross-play options now, just in ranked, unfortunately, still not again in regular public matches, but you had the ability to end up having either crossplay on, off, or on with consoles only as an option. This update changed a little bit of this and made some fixes, but also kind of addressed some of the feedback that was initially shared with this feature itself. Well, firstly, they said that the party leader controls console matchmaking. So if all players are theoretically on PlayStation 5, whoever is the party host, their crossplay preferences will be applied to the rest of that party in the matchmaking. But it was something this update also enabled some temporary enabling of this feature, as different party platforms may have different necessities in how that works. So if you have a mixed party with one player, say on another console, you're all on PlayStation 5, but your buddy Jim's on Xbox, this will temporarily, while you guys are in a party, turn on crossplay consoles only. But if you are in a mixed party with, say, everybody on PlayStation 5, but one PC player, crossplay will then be temporarily enabled, allowing players on PC to matchmake against your party, even though 3 of you may be on console. So that's something to be aware of, that it's going to be something temporarily enabled, and then once you get out of that party, your own personal preferences will take effect once again. They also acknowledged an issue with crossplay settings being reset when relaunching Black Ops 6 or the COD HQ and Warzone experiences. So nice to know that that bug at least is going to have a fix here relatively soon. This update also mentioned a handful of UI changes, honestly some pretty welcomed ones here at this one, where one of the biggest probably is they addressed an issue again where players would see the Prestige Master splash screen in the after action report saying, "Congratulations, you've mastered Prestige." This is another stab at getting rid of that. Personally speaking, I have not been able to double check this just because it was fixed for me in Season 2's update. Fingers crossed though, it is something that's also fixed for you. There are a couple of smaller things that were just weird bugs, like the XP earned in that after action report, that animation, it would show the Black Cell XP bonus flipped, so that was first rather than the actual XP gained. The one that was weird and kind of caught me off guard is that in the wording for this UI change, it said it addressed an issue where the challenge tracker would not automatically cycle to the next page after 8 seconds. Initially, that made it seem like, oh, they finally added a way so you could see more than one challenge of the 10 that you have tracked, or of the 10 that are auto-populated. But it doesn't seem like that's actually the case. Instead, I think this refers to just a sort of bug where it was getting stuck, where it wasn't going from daily challenges to next camo to tracked calling card challenges, those 3 tiers that will show up in that UI widget. Instead, after a sort of idle period, it will go back on rotation after every 8 seconds. So it doesn't seem like this is quite the fix we were maybe hoping for, and I still really think that it kind of defeats the purpose of having this functionality. If you can't check multiple of those tracked challenges, you only can look at one. So fingers crossed this is a change that gets taken a step further as well. The final global change here was a weird bug that was fixed for Weaver's Knocked Raider skin, that instant Prestige 1 reward once you end up getting to Prestige 1. It was something that as of the update, there was a skull that was put on top of his character's helmet, but also was halfway through his character model's head. So it was a weird sort of situation where people thought it was a new addition or version of this skin, but didn't actually appear to be intentional. As for Black Ops 6 in particular, multiplayer, the modes of hardcore, it saw some spawn protection enabled in hardcore modes. Leaderboards, they added a filter to multiplayer to toggle between core and hardcore stats. But I'd also like to add that yesterday we talked about the combat records being broken. This was fixed as of this update, though not mentioned in the patch notes. Combat records are still a little glitchy. Top 3 weapons still don't show for me, maybe the same for you, but my stats at least have updated and have populated since we talked about that. So I guess it's a partial fix. We'll see this here continue to roll out and maybe fix it entirely, fingers crossed, sooner rather than later. And finally, for multiplayer, the challenge of flowing low was something they took another stab at fixing again. Seemed to be hit or miss as of the Season 2 update, where it was cracking for some players. Like myself, I was finally able to get 100% completion done for multiplayer challenges, but then others, it wasn't working so much. So try that out now. Fingers crossed it actually is fixed. Zombies, there was a whole host of bug fixes for the Tomb and a little bit of Terminus directed mode. But the big thing, I think, is they added various stability fixes that should hopefully make this a more stable experience for Zombies players out there. Now, Warzone had, of course, all those same global changes that we talked about, the big ones probably applying to ranked play this time around, but you also saw some buy station locations in Urzikstan being updated further. The perk tracker is now properly unrestricted in ranked play, and the LTV vehicle has been disabled while they investigate an issue. Beyond that, other things include simply just a few bug fixes, but more prominently, a couple of weapons have been updated on top of what we saw with the Season 2 initial update, where the balancing for the XM4, the damage at medium range and maximum damage was something that was decreased finally. So the XM4, of course, was basically the meta for the majority of Season 1, where it was pretty much the only viable weapon that you really wanted to use in the rifle category. That was finally now knocked down a peg with its damage, and then the 100 round mag and the buffer stock, obviously the two integral parts to that build you wanted. The sprint to fire penalty was increased on the 100 round mag again a little further, and the buffer stock introduced a sprint to fire penalty, plus additional penalties for aim down sight speed, horizontal recoil control, vertical recoil control, and the gun kick control as well. So this on paper is again another substantial attempt at nerfing this build here, but whether or not it actually applies in game to be the sort of catalyst to make players use other weapons, we'll have to wait and see. The Jackal PDW saw its aim down sight speed and sprint to fire speed slowed down, so nerfing that. And the PPSH actually got a couple of little nice buffs here that brings it up to be maybe competitive again in that meta. You had the C9 and the Jackal as the two main SMGs really in the sort of play as of Season 2, but the PPSH now getting an increase to the ranges at max damage range and the medium damage ranges. That could be something that makes it a little bit more viable. They also did increase the leg multipliers, increase the bonus for the horizontal recoil control on the vertical foregrip, precision foregrip, and ranger foregrip, so offering a bit more in terms of versatility there. As for additional bug fixes, the big ones beyond some of the stuff that is global is they fixed an issue with crashing in custom games, they fixed an issue where players could not hear the sound of an enemy's self-revive audio, and they fixed an issue causing players to move at slower than intended speeds on ascenders. So obviously, keeping that pace of play up is important. Hearing your enemies get up is absolutely imperative to the gameplay experience. So some nice bug fixes there. Now, of course, is this going to fix all of the issues that players have and are still currently present? Absolutely not. There's still a whole bunch of cleanup that needs to happen in Warzone. We talked about this a little further in yesterday's video, but for right now with this update, it is a nice step in the right direction, I think. So that is the update, a surprising one here, given that we just had an update 2 days ago for the season. So some nice changes that have been made to kind of clean up the mess that introduced, while also getting rid of some prominent issues that were still persisting throughout Season 1 and into Season 2. So let me know your thoughts down below on what you think of this update. Like it so far, dislike it, whatever the case, drop your thoughts. But if you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. Of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date with all things Black Ops 6. Would love to have you in the community, but for now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.